So, even though I had to quit due to sickness, I did enjoy that tournament, and I felt that the few matches that I did have were pretty fun. Really though, what really made me enjoy this was getting to hang out with a lot of people, and especially, I actually got to meet and actually hang out with for quite a while Mariland, one of my favourite YouTubers of all time, who, yeah, has been a big inspiration for Pokemon series. He's really the only PokeTuber that I can actually watch, and that was pretty amazing, actually getting to talk to him for a while. We formed a little group with a few other people who'd come to see him, and that was pretty cool. We managed to get on the second day. So the second day I came back just to watch some of the other matches. I was a bit late to actually cancel the video game stuff, but I got to see a lot of card game stuff. So, this group with Mariland, we chatted for a while, but we eventually organised a kind of a mini TCG draft tournament, and Mariland was awesome. He actually paid for the whole thing himself, so seriously, thank you for that. That is just insane generosity there. But I'd actually never been in a draft before, but I'd always wanted to try one out, and he actually had never been in a draft before and had always wanted to try one out, so it was a pretty fun experience. Basically, the organisers gave us each a little pre-release pack. The way they're doing pre-releases now is, you get this sort of pre-made set of cards that comes with several different evolution lines and a bunch of trainers to ensure that no matter what you pull, you'll always have kind of a decent-ish core to build a deck around. So here you'll see I got the Gyarados pack. A lot of people wanted the Charizard one, which nobody at the table got. There were 8 of us, none of us got that. I think there were 2 Gyaradoses, a Mewtwo, and I forget the others, but yeah, nobody got the Charizard. So anyway, it also comes with 4 booster packs, and you open the pack, out of the 10 cards, you pick 1 to keep, and then you pass the rest on to the next person. And then you get the other person's pack of 9, and you get to pick 1 from there. And you keep going on until the last person is left with all the Spirit Links. Yeah, kind of an in-joke there, but basically, Spirit Links are kinda useless in these drafts, because in order to actually use them, you need to not only pull a Mega EX, but also the regular EX that it evolves from, and the Spirit Link, so the Spirit Links were the junk cards that no one wanted, basically. So, I didn't actually pull any EXs, the best I got was 2 double colorless energies, which is not bad. And I also managed to get this secret rare bilingual Executor, which I thought I might as well keep because, hey, it's a secret rare. Apparently it's not all that rare though, but anyway. Doesn't help the deck at all, and in fact, you actually can't use it because there are no executes in this set. Oh yeah, this is Evolutions, by the way, the effectively remake of the base set. So after all that, we build our deck out of what we have at the end, and here's the deck that I made. I managed to get some Dugongs and some Starmies in the things, and I made sure to get the basic Pokemon as well. I heard the Starmie was pretty good with its abilities, so I chose those. I also put the Magikarp and Gyarados in, so I have kind of a water deck going. I got the Vulpix and the Ninetales from the pack that you start off with, and decided to put them in. And then a bunch of trainers and my 2 double colorless energies. Also, Rattata, Raticate, and Farfetch, because having some normal types is always good, because they can work with any kind of energy. I'd heard the Rattata and Raticate are actually quite good in this set, and the Farfetch is actually not bad for a pre-release type of situation, because doing 50 damage for 1 energy is pretty decent. And with my double colorlesses, I could do another 50 with no drawbacks for 2 energy. I rounded the deck off with some trainers, and then 10 water energies and 3 fire. Now, first round of this little mini-tournament, I ended up against Mariland himself, which was really the main thing that I wanted to do out of this, and that was actually pretty fun. We ended up both leading with Farfetch'd at the start of the game, which was pretty hilarious. And I also got into this really silly situation where he got an Onix up, which has a 3 retreat cost, and I got my Raticate in, which discards an energy off of the target. Basically, I put him in a situation where he was stuck and couldn't do anything because I discard any energy he attached, and he couldn't retreat because he had no switches in the deck. And that was funny, so we got into a big stalemate while we both built up our benches. And at the end of the game, it came down to a few interesting things, and in the end I managed to win, which was actually pretty cool. Second game was a bit disappointing though. There was a fantastic game that went on between those 2 people that actually had never played the card game before. Mariland had to instruct them while he was playing against me, and they had a great game. Like, an EX ended up getting KO'd by a Poliwhirl thanks to strategic use of the Amnesia attack to stop them from using specific moves. So I was looking forward to a good game, and of course my opponent only draws Nidoran, and Charmander for the entire game and gets no other basics, and they just lose. So that was disappointing. Then so that means that I'm actually in the finals of this little mini 8-person tournament, and yeah, I scattered out the competition and I'd be facing either somebody with a Ninetales Break, I believe, or was it a Nidoking Break? It was a Break Evolution, or someone with Mewtwo EX. So, I get into the final match, and we put our stuff down, we put our basics face down, we go to turn 1, we flip them, and my opponent is leading with Mewtwo EX right off the bat. And I'm like, well, I pretty much lost this immediately. Yeah. My one hope was to try and rapidly search through the deck to see if I could find Rattata. I got Raticate in my starting hand, and I felt that if I could get the Rattata out there, I could evolve to Raticate, and then I could just discard his energies until he wasn't able to attack me. But sadly, it was not to be. I played 2 Great Balls and a bunch of other trainers to draw cards. I did not find the Rattata, so Mewtwo eventually just swept me. So yeah, but it was fun anyway, and we get to keep the cards, which is cool. So yeah, I had a really fun time hanging out with Maryland on day 2. Day 3 was also a really fun day, and also not for reasons that I expected. The schedule said the Masters Finals would not be until 5 PM. My flight back to Sydney was at 3:45, so I was like, okay, there's no way I'm actually going to be able to catch that final. And I felt like I wouldn't be able to catch any of the other finals either. Like, I might see some TCG stuff, but that'd be it. So, I went down there, managed to just catch a couple of matches on the big screen, and eventually there was a match and I was like, oh, what's this? Oh, it's actually the Juniors final. So I saw the Juniors final, which was pretty cool, and then the next match, which was the Seniors, and it was actually the Seniors final, so that was also cool. And then they get to another match, which is Masters, and I'm like, wait a minute, is this actually the Masters final? Turns out, it actually was the Masters final. They ran way earlier, and the Masters final happened at like 1 PM, and I was able to be there for it. Which I'm so glad I was. This is the first time I've ever actually caught a final of a major Pokemon tournament live, and of all the finals to catch live, this is definitely one of the best ones to do so, because this was one of the best matches I have ever seen. The crowd was so amazing. They got so into it. Like, seriously, every time a great play happened, they were just immediately into thunderous applause. They were like screaming at all the random rock slide misses and flinches. Anytime someone just did a really good switch in that happened, there was just all those just shock. The crowd was amazing, and also the players were amazing too, especially the one who ended up winning. So her name was Zoe Liu. She actually was relatively unknown in the VGC scene until now, which really shocks me because she is one of the most awesome players I've ever seen. The predictions and the plays that she made were so perfect. She would always choose the right time to double target. She would always see through the opponent's protects and double up on the other thing. She would catch switch-ins. She would play around her opponent's switch-ins. It was insane. Like, everyone in the crowd was in absolute awe of how well she was playing. Especially at one moment where everyone assumed, they all thought that she'd made a misplay. But no, she hadn't. She'd done exactly the right thing. One-hit KOing a Tapu Koko with Magnezone's Z move, despite the resistance. And I went and did a calculation afterwards. That's not just a random fluke. It's a guaranteed one-hit KO in electric terrain. Yeah. The crowd just went absolutely wild when that happened. It was just, it was such a great game to be at. Sadly, the event was not officially streamed, which is annoying. Apparently, it's not actually the Pokemon Company's fault. It was the fault of the external company that went and organized this thing to begin with. Like, the ones who did the event value. I'm not really sure what it is, but basically there was no official stream. But in some ways, I'm kind of glad for that, because the unofficial stream that was just done with, like, a phone camera, so it caught the crowd's reactions, If you didn't have the crowd's reactions for this, you'd be missing out on a lot. It was so amazing how everyone got into this one. And when she finally won, there was an amazing chant of Aussie, 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 oi, 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 which for those of you who are not Australian, you probably won't understand what that is, but you hear that at sporting events all the time. Because yes, Zoe Lou is Australian. And I did not expect any Australians to even get that far, but for one to actually win Masters, pretty awesome. People before were joking about the Australians having to defend their castle from the approaching Americans like Wolf Glick and Aaron Zhang. Then the moment this happened, everyone is just like, castle defended. By the way, neither of those two really got that far into the finals. I think Wolf Glick finished 9th, which is kind of a shame. And I think Aaron Zhang had a pretty major upset loss earlier on. But, I mean, going off topic here, the fact that I actually got to meet them in person was also pretty amazing. I never expected that. I actually got photos with them too. I hope they're okay with that, but a lot of people were doing that. And I was able to talk with Maryland and our little group as well for most of the third day too, before I had to leave. So, all in all, I had a really fun time at this event, and it's actually rekindled my desire to go to more of these. I really hope there's some kind of regional event near where I am. The next time there's any kind of semi-official tournament around here, I'm definitely going to be going to enter it. I've now got right back into breeding some stuff, and of course I'm going to breed up a Magnezone and nickname it Zoe after seeing that amazing thing that just happened. I've also got another video that I'm actually making with that in mind, which you might be seeing for a bit. Just a little bit of a slight mini-joke video that I thought would be kind of funny. But yeah, anyway, yeah, this has gone on for quite a while, but I really like talking about the experience here because it was such a great experience. I really love it, so definitely great, just like the 2014 one. And in fact, I actually think that the Pokemon Tournament organization has come a long way since then. 2014, like I said earlier, I was in line since 6 AM because they had far more people than they ever expected to sign up, and the event was matches were supposed to start at 9, they ended up starting at 12, and it ended up running until like 10 at night or even later because it was all on one day. This time, not only did they spread it out over 3 days, which I think is a great decision, but also they had pre-registration the day before, and just the way they organized things. Originally they said they'd have no time for a lunch break. They got through matches so quickly that both the TCG and VGC players got a pretty long lunch break added in. So, definitely more efficient in organising the tournaments now, which is good. The sense of sportsmanship was great here, everyone was having fun, having a really good time. In one of my earlier matches, just like the people next to me were just spending the whole match just constantly just exchanging some pretty funny quips about what was happening, like some weird hacks that happened in the first turn, and they were just going like, oh, that was a great turn one, great! It was pretty fun. They were having a good time, and everyone was. It was all friendly, the atmosphere was great. To my knowledge, there wasn't any kind of major screen peeking or other kinds of cheating at all involved. So, great event overall, and I'm glad that I was there. So, I hope you've enjoyed listening to my ramblings about my experiences there, and I hope, yeah, if any of you want to attend one of these events, I'm kind of annoyed though about the entry fees. They do kind of make it a bit harder for people to do this, but anyone who is interested in attending these, if you have the chance, definitely do it. It's something that you won't regret. I certainly didn't, and with that, I'll see you all next time.